Ready, Dave?
Okay, let's open up the special meeting of, what is the date today?
First.
March 1st. It is 2 o'clock. We requested RFPs for our legal labor attorney, and we got 2 of them. Has everybody had time to review, or what are we gonna do? Are we just gonna decide that we're gonna interview both of them, or do we wanna select one, or what do we wanna do?
Well, I did call, I called Jenny Max, the city administrator in Nisswa.
Yep.
Because they have, they're using them.
Which one?
The Kennedy and Graven.
Okay,
And she was like over the top enthusiastic about them. She said they're fantastically responsive. They've navigated some really challenging litigation for them. And what I really liked to hear her say was that they use Robert, or Bob, she called him, and Mary. They kind of they're a team, so if one isn't available, the other one responds. But she said that they display a lot of initiative. It's not like, I feel like we're kind of saying, well, what do you think we should do? And in response to, what do you want to do? Yeah, so, but she just, so that was, and I put in a call to one of the, it's Brainerd, I think, to one of the.
why did you call Jenny? Is she listed on here?
Yeah, she's right here.
Okay.
Yeah, she's one of the references. And I just kind of wanted to get some firsthand.
Well, this one here, I know, Ray. We worked together about 16 years.
Yeah, and who else did I call? I called someone else, but they weren't available. I left a message.
And in fact, her boss, the administrator, is huge in the fire issue.
So are we planning on
I called,
getting rid of
Bradley.
Jake in the middle of this, or
He's a city.
retaining him and hiring another?
Dr. Summers, I didn't
Just so we have 2 people we can bounce ideas off of, or?
I kind of, at least initially, I would support that.
So you want to interview both of them?
Well, I think we should, just do a Zoom meeting. I think we should. They went through the trouble of filling this out and sending it in.
Sure.
Yeah, there's a couple things you can do. When I looked at this on the Madden, Galanter, and Hanson, I looked at it from, that firm used to be Frank J. Madden and Associates. They go back quite a ways. They've got 3 people in their firm right now.
3 women, it
3
looks
women.
like. Yep.
Yeah, 3 attorneys, Susan Hanson since 1996, Margaret Penland since 2016, and Molly Fisher from 2021. That's each when they were admitted to the bar to practice. So they've got an older firm that looks, in my opinion, is transitioning to a smaller firm.
Yep.
I did try to check out their website, and it's not working. You can't get logged onto it for whatever reason. It does exist. I know where the building is because I'm familiar with that area. They do a number of work, so they're on the, as far as firm size, they're on the small end.
Very small, yeah. Yeah. And sometimes that's an advantage, and sometimes it's not. That really be
Yep.
spread too thin, because I looked at who they're representing. In fact, I made a note on that.
Yeah, Kennedy and Graven is probably the largest that does this. They're probably half again a size larger as the firm that we're currently using. You had said you had contacted Nisswa. No, Nisswa, there's other issues with that we can't talk about, so I won't comment on it.
Okay.
But typically, again, the comment I made at when we were looking at cleaning services and civil attorneys is, usually there's a reason why you're changing. Usually that's done during budget process. The reason Brad Person did not put a bid in, because he's already appointed.
Right.
And he's already at an unfair advantage because they know what the fees are. It would likely be inappropriate for our existing attorney to put a bid in too, because they're already appointed. So the things you would look at is, what issues are you having with the attorney, if any? If you're looking at price, they're all within the same range. Are you happy with the service? Are you unhappy with the service? Do you agree with their advice? Do you disagree with the advice? Whatever those reasons are. And then you would make those decisions. None of that's happened in this case, okay? Just be aware of that. So today, what you can do is you can agree to interview these attorneys, or you can say, you know what, we tested the waters. I think, Dave, you mentioned when we went out for other services, you wanted to see, you brought up your house insurance to see if you're getting a good rate. So I think we've answered that question with these proposals. So your decision today can be, do you want to stay put? Or do you want to consider changing attorneys? And then what are those reasons?
And this is strictly for Jake, correct?
No, it'd be for Johnson, Kill, and Seiler for labor attorneys.
The one we're using for?
We use 3 attorneys there.
Okay, yeah, for Jacob, yep, sorry, okay, yes,
Right.
for Jake.
We use Jessica Durbin,
Well, I think
Jake
Sandy
Stonecipher.
and I have interacted with
And-
Jake before,
yep.
so that's all we know.
yeah. And then they have Kevin Pillsbury that we've worked with too. So we worked at the number of their firm.
So, wait, is Brad part of the same law firm?
No,
Okay,
Brad is the city attorney, is our city attorney now, since we
I
didn't,
thought that he was talking about
yeah,
us.
this is the legal,
Yeah,
this
I
is legal labor, you know,
Right,
our
yeah.
labor services.
what I brought Brad into it for is because he didn't provide a proposal too.
Yep.
And I gave you the same comments with that discussion as I just did with this one.
I just don't see, I mean, yeah, like we have questions for Jake and he doesn't necessarily come out right and answer them, so to say, or give us some concrete information, but I think we're in too deep to restart with him right now at this point.
That's what I'm concerned about this year.
I think all we have to do is get through the the mediation board that we're going to.
Only with confidence.
I'm not,
No, I'm not confident in him either.
I'm not, I'm not. And they don't really follow up because,
We still haven't heard if we're having that meeting or not.
no, but I'm talking about previous experience that did not follow up and take care of business the way
Oh,
should have been done.
what's he doing? Oh, he left a packet.
So
I think we should-
I'm all for interviewing because I'm not impressed with
I agree.
the Durbin Law
I'm fine
firm.
with that.
Nice, but not necessarily like a real go-getter.
No, I just didn't know
No,
what the plan was.
and they don't. For an example, the employment contract thing, they should have pressed the issue and gotten a reply, and he didn't, and that's not my job to make sure that that gets done. That's their job. They should have been on top of that. So that's kind of disappointed in all that, so.
So can you just, go ahead. Go ahead.
One thing, are we going to continue through labor negotiations?
That's what I was just gonna ask.
Okay, so you and I are on the same page.
We're-
Because we're already quite deep into this negotiation.
With this guy.
To start over,
That's fine. I don't know how long it's going to take or anything. So I would say, I'd have, if we go with another firm, that we keep them for that mediation board thing. But our other attorney, if we hire and contract with a new attorney, they should be present too.
Can you do that?
Is that
Why can't we? We could have 10 attorneys sitting there if we want.
Of course, you have to pay them.
Well, yeah, but I think it would be well worth.
I think that's another question we might be able to present during the interview process is, we're kind of in the middle of a,
But I mean, are we gonna be, by dropping Jake, are we gonna be hit with any like penalty clause or anything, or how does?
No.
Did we sign a contract that they're working for this long and they're,
I think it's a 30-day notice.
okay,
I'm sorry, I should have.
So we could do it
okay.
April
I just didn't
1st.
know if there
If we
was
decide to go to
Right.
someone else, we do
30-day
April
notice.
1st notice, and
That's fine.
that's
I just
it.
didn't know if there was a penalty clause or if we get hit with something, so I have no problem interviewing
I'm
these two.
assuming we would have to check it out, okay?
My only question about the Madden, Galanter, and Hanson is, it says here, their experience in the firm represents, I'm assuming currently, all of these cities. And if there's only 3 attorneys, will they have time for us? To do an adequate job?
They get a
it's
pretty good
Ben and
workload.
Brett, yeah. So
This
maybe,
I have a question on this one here,
That's a good question
fees.
to ask.
On the fees, because on their proposal for civil, they had travel on their fees, and they don't have it on this one.
I think they do mention it elsewhere in here.
Maybe I missed it then.
Yeah, I think I saw, it.
probably
I think they do.
Yeah, they have a ton of people at this Kennedy, or whatever this is. Kennedy.
Well, and that almost,
Huge.
a question I would have and want presented to them is.
Oh, here,
well, we-
travel time and meeting attendance will also be billed.
Yeah, see, and they're coming out of at least St. Cloud, because they have an office in St. Cloud. But are we going to get the same attorneys consistently?
Every time.
Yes.
Well, no, consistently.
That's
But-
what,
You don't want to flip-flop.
that's what the woman in this one, that's what she said, that they just have those 2.
Yeah, usually they dedicate an attorney
Right.
in a large firm to deal with the same.
One.
Yeah.
Now, Mike, I guess before I ask Mike that question, are we looking to interview? I don't care either way.
Just a point of clarification,
Okay, then we'll do that. We're going to need some questions to ask. Both sides.
I think we should come up with those now.
Yes.
Since we're all in a meeting, come up with an open meeting.
just a point of clarification, on page 6 of Kennedy and Graven, their main office is Minneapolis, that's downtown. Their St. Paul office is by appointment, and so is their St. Cloud office is by appointment. So that tells me they're not staffed with attorneys all the time, only by appointment. So they would be coming out of Minneapolis is the point. That could be a question you could ask them.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Who's taking notes?
I will.
Okay, thank you. Nobody would read mine.
I just think we should come up. Maybe we should just come up with questions.
Yeah,
Or what do you think?
We'll put some together.
or we can,
Both the same questions, so you'll have to get just.
Yeah, we'll ask them, right, we'll ask them both the same questions, yeah.
if people want to send me questions that come to mind, if you don't want to do it now, I'll be happy to compile those together. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we got to think about it.
Okay.
I think some right off the bat is that pay one, for travel or whatever the question
But-
is, what the rate is.
I think Zoom meetings should work fine, shouldn't they?
Well, yeah, but I mean, from time to time, we're probably gonna want them in person, I would imagine, from time to time.
Yeah, right.
Just to see what the rate is, but yeah, Zoom meetings are fine.
Zoom. I know Marcia was being
I know.
facetious back at the other day, but,
Hey, I learned my lesson on Zoom. I can't win, so
although but.
I'm
it
just
has to
backing
be-
off of that.
I think it would be a good question though, Marcia.
Yeah,
Do you attend meetings via Zoom? You know what I'm saying? Is that your preferred?
You know, I think it's
No.
different with,
Because,
Brad, because he's in town and he's here and he's strictly
well,
city attorney.
your civil attorney that sits here at these meetings every month, that's different than labor attorney. Labor attorney, you can do some of those Zoom.
That's what
But
I'm
some of them,
saying.
like Jake the other day, he needed to be here.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Exactly, there's instances where it's appropriate and there's instances where they need to be here, not on Zoom.
What accommodations would they need from us as a city?
It's a good one.
I think is a fair question.
Okay, write that down.
Must be.
Do you have an example, Aaron?
Well, Zoom, are they going to want to work extensively through Zoom, this type of thing? So that when we have a meeting like this, where there's really only the 5 of us and city administrator, are they going to want to sit on Zoom all the time? And some of it I'm not going to object to because it's, how much was it, an hour for travel?
It's the same, it's like 210, I think.
Yeah,
Right, if you
okay.
get money, it's traveling.
Page 9 addresses travel.
Yeah,
Under
that's,
compensation, it says travel time and meeting attendance will be billed at the proposed hourly rates.
Yeah,
yeah,
which is, I think, 210,
okay. Well,
Whoever-
no,
it
it's
depends on
more
who's
than that.
attending.
It's 215
right?
hourly rate. That's associates. And stuff, but anyway, you don't know that somebody could have some kind of a handicap, some kind of a need. So to answer your question,
Right.
I'd be looking probably more in that direction
Okay,
and make sure that we meet OSHA requirements for that.
Are we going to interview?
I'm sorry.
Are we going to interview through Zoom? Or are we going to have them present?
I prefer to have a person here because I like to see body language.
Okay, all right.
I mean,
Just wanted to make sure that
that's my
we're on
preference.
the same page.
I would maybe question that, Aaron. That's asking them to give up a full day for an interview. Travel both ways, and
Do you have a sample of questions for
I don't know why.
city attorneys or attorneys?
I can look for one. I can have Shar look for one. She's got a pretty good resource bank of that.
See? That'd be good, I think.
Yeah, I think if she would just email that out, we can,
Pick and choose?
Right.
probably not online or any, I guess it doesn't really matter. We're not making a decision. We're just,
But I don't know, I understand what you're saying, Dave, that's quite a bit to ask of them, but at the same time, I think sometimes attorneys are one I like to be able to look at.
yeah, but a labor attorney, we do not use that often. We have
Right.
been frequently using it now, but
And that's kind of a little bit of the point, is because right now, we should need them really very little for the next probably 2 to 2.5 years.
we should, but we never know what's coming down the pike, so we don't know. So I wouldn't be opposed to a Zoom interview
I
meeting,
would, there, yeah.
just because I think to ask them to give up a day and come up here. Maybe they'll do it, maybe they'd like to do it.
Before she sends stuff out to us, and the two of you can communicate a little bit, and then they can add in some of our specific things we spoke about here.
So, yeah, if anyone has any other questions they want included in a list of questions, and I'll make copies or give them to Shar, and everyone can have a list.
Yep. I'm good with that.
Okay.
Anything else, Marcia? Something's brewing over here.
when are we doing the interviews? On the 15th? Is that it?
I think we have to reconfirm
Or
that.
is that,
I have it in my phone.
I do too.
March 15th at 2 o'clock is interviews, Ross Lake City Council.
When we contact them, it might be a good idea to ask them if they're going to charge us travel time to come for the interview.
they can't,
Decide a little bit
we're
on
not,
dates.
we're not contracted with them, so they can't charge us.
And maybe they'd like to be here, I don't know, I just,
Give them the option, I guess.
Of course, I've been out of the business, maybe they do that now.
yeah.
The option, I guess. Well, no.
Right now, we have nothing on scheduled on the 8th official,
I guess,
the day, but we don't have a time yet,
We don't have time, yeah.
a time for what?
On the 8th,
on the 8th,
and that is for the, what again?
the short term,
Why do I have public safety at 11 o'clock?
because there is a public safety at 11 o'clock.
So this is for the short-term rental of what? For people to weigh in?
Yeah,
Yep.
On March 8th?
but we don't know what time yet.
Well, she better get that time out before.
So that's a problem.
There's a lot of
That's a
people-
problem.
Well, it better be in the
Problem
evening.
for Marcia.
Well, it's kind of up in the air.
What he's talking about?
I don't-
March 8th?
Yeah,
I've got 11 to 12,
that's what I have too.
so.
Public safety was changed.
No,
Time for our meeting.
for the short-term rental.
It better be in the evening.
It can't be,
People have-
yeah.
It better be in the evening because people have to work that own short-term rentals and all that stuff. So if they wanna have a say, it better be anytime after 5.
Did anybody print out all those that Shar sent those?
No.
Okay, I'm running out of ink, so maybe she'll print that out for me.
So for purposes of this meeting, is it agreed you're going to interview Kennedy and Graven and not Madden, Galantner,
No,
and
both of
Hanson?
them.
Both of them.
We're going
Both
to
of them.
interview both of them,
Both.
okay.
And Charles will work with Sandy a little
Yep.
bit to put together questions.
Correct.
To send out to us.
She's probably, I'm sure she's probably got a list.
And that's good. I'm glad.
Do you know if there's a time, Mike, yet for Wednesday? For the
I do
short-term
not.
rental?
We should know today.
Okay, cool.
Who else we checking with?
Chris Pence.
We're trying to coordinate with the county on that time. And that meeting will more likely than not be during the day if it's with the county.
Okay. So what's the one with Brad then?
That's for
Just to
staff.
get the
That's the
order.
same.
Yep.
Oh, that's the same one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was supposed to be tomorrow.
Wanted both, the people that were there wanted both Brad and Chris there.
So it's not tomorrow anymore? Because on the email we got, it was supposed to be
Yeah.
Thursday, tomorrow,
March
Thursday.
2nd.
March 2nd.
And I was gonna
At
come.
1 o'clock. So that's not tomorrow anymore? Not this meeting we're
That's
talking?
what, you're talking about two different meetings.
No, the.
That's what I'm
the-
asking.
There is
The
one at
March,
1 o'clock tomorrow.
yeah, and
What's
that's,
the one next
What's it,
Thursday?
1 o'clock
Or
tomorrow?
next Wednesday?
It just says it's,
The county,
I don't think it's one that we have to go to, but I'm not sure.
Next Wednesday or tomorrow? My understanding was the county was tomorrow.
I don't, from what I understand, they
All I have is
couldn't,
city
he
council
wasn't
meeting.
available.
I don't know, I don't remember what it was for.
Mike?
Let us get the times out to you.
No, but is
No,
there a
let-
meeting
What is
tomorrow?
the-
Is there a meeting tomorrow?
Because my wife has therapy tomorrow.
What is the meeting?
That was for staff to meet with Brad, as directed by the council.
Oh, but that's not
that
happening
meeting,
tomorrow.
That's just staff.
That's staff. That's a different
That's what I
meeting.
needed
You're
to know.
talking about different meetings.
Okay.
And what do you,
So we're not involved in that meeting.
No.
So this
can
would
we be there if we want to be?
Yes.
Sure.
So then this is regarding short-term rentals?
Mhm.
Okay, so just to get any input he has, or?
This is with Chip and Brad and
Correct.
Peter,
I'm not sure who else.
Yep.
Peter, I think.
Peter.
I'd just kind of like to hear what they have to say, and but I'm sure you'll present to us what,
Dave and I went through 2 hours of it here the other day.
Oh, really?
well, there's so much,
Oh,
there's
was
so,
that I heard the
P&Z.
PNZ was a train wreck.
Okay, so are we done with this meeting then? Because we can adjourn this one and move on.
I'm done with
Somebody make a motion to adjourn.
I
you
motion
need
to
a
adjourn.
motion to interview both, or can we do a general consensus?
Why don't you do a motion, a second, and you can vote on it to interview both.
I make a motion that we interview both candidates for our labor attorney, Madden, Glanter, Hanson, and Kennedy and Graven.
I second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
She called me, but we had company, overnight company, so.
Okay,
At tomorrow's meeting,
She said you told her to call me.
Yeah.
So,
She's very into this stuff.
yeah, I could tell. What exactly is there anything in particular you wanted me to?
No, it's just, you know, she's got some good insight.
There's two things she wanted to talk to me about, so, no.
All right, close the meeting, folks.
Okay.